think we good. Think we good. I think we good. Think we good. Okay. Cool. Okay, cool. All right, cool. Cool. I think we good. I think we good. I think we good. Let's get the show started. What's good, y'all? What's good, y'all? What's good, y'all? What's great? Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast. I'm your host, Ashley Lovechild. I want to thank y'all for tuning in for episode 283. That's a lot of episodes. And again, I appreciate y'all support. Here we talk about everything at Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast, whether it's social media, current events, sports, entertainment. We have the fun conversation, the real conversation. We have all the conversations. And I think we're respectful when we do it, even if we don't agree or even, is our opinion is not of the norm. So with no further ado, I want to thank the presenting sponsor of this podcast, which is Button Snaps, where you get the finest of movies, shows, documentaries, and original content for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. Remember, y'all, do not be an agent of chaos. Do not be a stain. A stain is somebody that try to stand out by being negative. Have the ability to stand out by being positive. Lose that Willie Lynch mindset. Lose that it can only be one mindset. Hate has a location. It's just not here. The only op we recognize over here is opportunity. Shout out to the chat real quick. Before I get started, shout out to the chat. I see the chat in here holding it down. Remember, y'all hit them likes, hit them 100s. It definitely helps with the growth of the show, and we appreciate it each and every episode. Shout out to King P, one of our big badge holders, had his badge for over 2 years. Shout out to Shay in the building. Shout out to Elena in the building. Shout out to Hazel. Shout out to Tremont in the building. Shout out to Ebony in the building. Appreciate Ebony for tapping in. You already know. Shout out to, who else is that? His comment got deleted, so I don't know. His comment got deleted. I was about to say the person's name, but shout out to y'all. Either way, shout out to y'all. Again, thank y'all for supporting the show each and every episode. Appreciate y'all as always. All right, y'all, with no further ado, let's get the first segment cracking. Let's start off with a popular opinion segment. And y'all already know these are not my questions. These are the world's questions. So stick to the answers in the questions, y'all. First segment of the night is brought to you by OUV Records. Make sure you go to Instagram at OUV Records and stay in tune to the latest music and merchandise. The label motto is create, document, and inspire. So make sure y'all stay in tune to OUV Records at Instagram. All right, y'all, first segment of the night. You already know how we doing it. Remember, y'all, these are not my questions. These are the world's questions. So stick to the answers in the questions. Which death in the Power universe were you most happy with? Which death in the Power universe were you most happy with? Number 1, Dre. Number 2, Terry Silver, excuse me. Number 3, Kanan. Number 4, Holly. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Which death in the Power universe were you most happy about? Number 1, Dre. Number 2, Terry Silver. Number 3, Kanan. And number 4, Holly. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Me personally, I'm a big fan of Power. I think as good of a show that Power has been throughout time, I've said before that I felt like Power could have been so much more. And I felt like it kind of lost its mark. I think with the ending of Raising Kanan, it brought back out the Power fans and all the energy and all the intrigue. But when we talk about the question by itself, out of all of these characters watching OG Power, for me, is undoubtedly Holly. For me, I like Holly and her. Like, if y'all remember OG Power, Holly was Tommy's girl. And she was just, once she done got like solidified in her position, she felt like she could move and groove all out of pocket, like talking to Ghost crazy, talking to, like, stealing from his wife. Like, she was just moving just all out of pocket. And at the end of the day, I'm going with Holly. I think the rest of these people Dre, I didn't really get the satisfaction of Dre dying, but I got a satisfaction of Dre dying. That's probably how he died in off the show, was like, and how he was moving, but he was moving kind of like everybody else. He was just being better at it. Terry Silver, he just had to go. Like he just had to go. Kanan, I wouldn't be mad at Kanan. I used to be on Kanan's side for real until I watched Raising Kanan and what happened in the show. If you know, you know. I'm not gonna spoil it for some of the people that didn't see it yet. But for the cause of this question, I'm not mad at people that say Kanan. In the chat, I'm seeing Kanan in the chat. They saying he's terrible. They saying he's terrible. Like I said, if you know, you know. If you watch Raising Kanan and how it finished, they just finished the last season. I honestly felt like they could have squeezed another season out of this. But that's not the question. So again, the question is, which death in Power Universe were you most happy about? Again, number 1 was Dre, number 2 was Terry Silver, number 3 Kanan, and number 4 Holly. The chat went with Kanan. The chat went with Kanan hands down. I'm seeing Kanan in the chat. Me, I went with Holly. The rest of the world, mind you, 13,000 people voted on this. 35%, because it was close. It wasn't like just a runaway ticket here. 35% went with Dre. I'm kind of surprised at that. I'm not gonna lie. Shout out to y'all in the chat. I'm kind of surprised. 35% went with Dre. Again, me personally, I just thought Dre was moving and grooving like everybody else. Everybody is real slick, sneaky, snaky, and he did it better than everybody else. But I think the problem with Dre is that he did it to his friends. But when you think about Power, you got people unaliving their sons, their folks, and like, so their fathers, like, so it, you know what I mean, like yo, so I think he played the game better than everybody else. I just think people didn't like Dre all in itself, me personally. So it's kind of funny that y'all went with Dre. Holly, man, Holly should have been the one, man. Holly should have been like uno de facto most satisfying for everybody else. For me, oh man, it was a joyful day because she was about to burn everything down. She was a rider on 1 second, then next second she ready to tell, then she go away, then she come back. It's like, you know what I mean, like, yo, what you think you calling the shots here? Yeah, so and she started calling Ghost instead of Mr. St. Patrick. Like, yo, she was doing too much. All right, y'all, moving on to our next popular opinion question. Best sports movie performance on this list. Best sports movie performance on this list. Number 1, Sylvester Stallone in Rocky IV. Number 2, Jean-Claude Van Damme in Bloodsport. Number 3, Cuba Gooding Jr. in Gladiator. Number 4, Jamie Foxx in Any Given Sunday. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Shout out to my dog CC, one of our day ones in the build. Appreciate you for tapping in, my brother. You already know, hit them likes, hit the 100s. It helps with the growth of the show. You already know I appreciate y'all each and every episode. And if this is your first time tuning in and tapping in, we're on every Wednesday, every Sunday at 10:30. So appreciate y'all for tapping in. All right, y'all. So again, best sports movie performance on this list. Best sports movie performance on this list. Again, number 1, Sylvester Stallone. Number 2, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Bloodsport. Number 3, Cuba Gooding Jr., Gladiator. Number 4, Jamie Foxx in Any Given Sunday. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. For me, Jamie Foxx was super duper amazing in Any Given Sunday, so much to the point where he became a character outside of the movie, meaning that kids will wear number 13 because of Steamin' Willie Beamin', right? Then when you think of Cuba Gooding Jr. in the movie Gladiator, for some people that don't know, the boxing movie Gladiator, and he like, to me, when I was a kid and that movie came out, and seeing the brother going at it and going toe to toe, even though I didn't know, like, Cuba Gooding Jr. wasn't a big actor back then when the movie came out. It was just the feeling of it, you know what I'm saying? So he did a great performance in that. Sylvester Stallone, Rocky 4 is like next level. It's next level. His performance and how he boxed. Well, you know, it's performative, it's acting, but again, the performance in itself was just outstanding. But me personally, I gotta go with Jean-Claude Van Damme in Bloodsport. If you know, you know. If you don't, go see Bloodsport when you get a chance to after the pod. But Jean-Claude Van Damme has such a movie magic, especially in that movie. All the moves is wildly exaggerated. All the moves felt like it was life and death, and all of the moves just had high stakes. And his portrayal of Frank Dukes, in my opinion, is the best sports movie performance on this list, me personally. In the chat, I'm seeing a mix of answers in the chat. Shout out to the chat. They saying Sylvester Stallone, Sylvester No Lie Rocky is just different. So y'all going with Rocky. I'm seeing number one gotta be Rocky. So everybody's saying Rocky. The whole chat with Rocky. The chat not even trying to hear me right now. They going with Rocky in the chat. Again, I went with Jean-Claude Van Damme in Bloodsport. Again, that movie magic, the moves he was doing in Bloodsport, and it made the movie so believable. And mind you, shout out to Rocky 4, because that came out, what, in the late 80s? Same thing with Bloodsport. That came out in the late 80s. And I could still watch Rocky 4 and Bloodsport right now, still to this day, from the beginning to the end, especially when they get to the Kumite. When they get to the Kumite, oh, it is up. So I'll go with Jean-Claude Van Damme in the chat. Manja, 21,000 people voted on this. 47% went with, surprise, surprise, Sylvester Stallone and Rocky 4. Yeah, y'all got it. Y'all got it. Again, Sly, he was outstanding in Rocky 4. He was so good. They coming out with a movie on him playing the character. So, like, that's how good Sylvester Stallone was in that movie. I like Rocky 5 as well, too. A lot of people don't like Rocky 5, but I was digging Rocky 5. But Rocky 4, the performance and what it meant, you know, to fight Ivan Drago at the time. Even though my favorite Rocky of all time is Rocky 3 with Clubber Lang. You think bad boy? Like Mr. T was, you know what I'm saying, he was piecing Rocky up. He pieced him up something nice in the first match. Rocky didn't know what hit him. Clubber Lang gave him a couple of them body shots, couple of them hooks and crosses, and he's like, what's going on? And with Mick Don, you know what I'm saying, that made the stakes so high. You know what I'm saying? Like, Mick, we got a lot to do. We still got a lot to do, Mick. Like, yo, Rocky 3 for me is hitting on a whole nother level, but that's beside the point. Shout out to the chat. Y'all going in the chat. Come on, Ash. You can't tell me not understanding Rocky's accent in the corner with the swollen. No, Again, I'm not saying Rocky 4 wasn't popping. Rocky 4 is a stamp. Like, it's a stamp movie. Like, it's stamped. Like, I already said it's a stamp. But, excuse me, I said stamp. It's a stamp. But, in my opinion, Frank Dukes or Jean-Claude Van Damme in Bloodsport, he made every move was wildly exaggerated, but it looked authentic at the same time. And it was high stakes. It was high stakes. Especially when he had to fight Bolo at the end, and Bolo hit him with the little pepper, the little pepper or the salt jar, and he feeling around and say go back to his training. The Bolo threw the judge at him, and Jean-Claude Van Damme corner was like, hold on, oh yeah, you ain't Bolo, like come behind me, my G, come behind me, like yo, if you behind me, I'm gonna protect you. And Bolo didn't know what to do. He was like, yo, what the? I don't know what was about to happen. So that's what I'm saying. Jean-Claude Van Damme lived and died in that performance. Mind you, The movie outside of the Kumite, the acting outside of, because people forget, Forrest Whitaker's in that movie, right? He's chasing Jean-Claude Van Damme the whole movie. But outside of Forrest Whitaker, the movie acting wise is relatively ass. But the performance, we're talking about the sports performance of Jean-Claude Van Damme in Bloodsport was just different, yo. I'm telling you, when he went blind and he was like, "What's going on?" Like, and he started, mapping out the ring. Bolo didn't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? So, but again, Rocky Four, I give it its flowers. It's a fire movie. I say it's the best sports movie performance on this list. So I'm not mad at that at all. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next segment, our barbershop talk. Our barbershop talk for this episode is the question. It's a question, and we was talking about it at the barbershop yesterday, and I didn't get a haircut, like, which is crazy, but I digress, right? Uh, the world we live in today, if COVID never happened, that's the question. The world we live in today, if COVID never happened. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. I would love to know your thoughts. Automatically, we think of like inflation, in gas. We think of the rent. We think of the cost of living. We think of just the housing market all in itself wouldn't be what it is at this particular time. It still feel like we're behind in what we needed to do. But the biggest misnomer is, like, for real, is the insurance companies. The insurance companies, they thought it was like open season to go hammies with the high interest rates, which is crazy. And you pricing people out so much that people are actually choosing to leave their home. Like, who choose to leave their home? They're choosing to leave their home, find a way to have like money go directly to their bank account and just let it save while they go homeless for a period of time. So that way, when they get a home again or an apartment, they really have seed money that they could really get back into the real world, get a job, and have months and months of rent stacked up. And that's mainly because of the cost of living going through the roof. Mind you, if the cost of living is going up, you will exercise using your credit. Now your credit, what, goes down. So now when you do and acquire things through credit, you won't get great interest rates on top of that, and your credit score suffers. So the world we would live in today, if there wasn't COVID, I mean, there's a lot of things for both good and bad, but at the same time, I think we use COVID. I want to say we as the people, but our government have been using COVID as a cover to be mediocre as fuck. And mind you, before COVID, our government was mediocre as fuck. Our government has been mediocre as fuck for a while now. When is the last time we felt like they cared about us as the people? Because, like, truly, when you go to other countries and you see how they operate, and they operate with way less. Mind you, they have natural resources, they have the people, but it just seems like those countries operate understanding that the country benefits by having people. Our country operates as if we benefit when people pass away. It's like the Thanos theory, right? Snap the finger. So our Infinity Stone glove is basically our cost of living and how we choose to treat the people that live here. And mind you, I love our country, born and raised here. But damn, like, when is enough is enough. So I think about the convenient things before COVID, right? Because before COVID, you could go to Walmart 24 hours a day, get what you need. You had less traffic, in different foods. So everything was just super convenient before COVID, me personally. But it's still mediocre as fuck. And honestly, I feel like our government and our corporation, because the USA is a corporation. The US is the country, or vice versa, however you may want to classify it. They use up our resources and make us pay for those same resources. Do that make sense? And in other countries, they have free medical care, and their medical care is popping. People over on other countries is not sick, despite what we think, despite what we think, based on the knowledge that we get from people who run our country, the script that they give us. You go to other countries, people are alive and well, have amazing teeth, have amazing health, because they benefit from people living. Like, yo, we need people around. In other countries, they paying people to move there. There's certain parts of Italy, they'll pay you $55,000 a year for like the first 3 years of you living there. Y'all look it up. And that's not the only place that's doing that. So again, what if COVID never happened? And that was like a real topic on how things used to be. And my thing is, like, we still been mediocre as fuck, me personally. Shout out to the chat. People would be less propagandists. No lie, I might be wrong though. RIP. Shout out to Cece, my dog Cece. Shout out to fam. We got my dog fam in the building. One of our other day ones. Appreciate you for tapping in. We got them day ones in the building, man. Hit them likes, y'all. Hit them 100s. It helps with the growth of the show. RIP to Don Nelson. We lost the legend. Okay, yeah, shout out to Don Nelson, man. Rest in peace. Rest in peace. You talking about Don Nelson, the basketball coach? Or, no, that's Leslie Nelson, the actor. You talking about Don Nelson, the basketball coach? He passed away? Yeah, rest in peace, man. Damn. A shout out to, a salute to the people on this Wednesday. I like that. Keep that real 24/7. Don't let the money change you. Man, that is, yeah, I love that message, bro. Shout out to my dog fam. Yeah, Don Nelson, the basketball coach. Damn. Rest in peace to Don Nelson. Rest in peace. He's a super duper legend. If you don't know, go find out. Shout out to Don Nelson, man. A real pillar of basketball, not just the NBA, but of basketball. One of the old school coaches, you know what I'm saying? One of them coaches, you out there bumming it, he going, you know what I'm saying? He going to chew you out. Like, yo, you playing like absolute dog. I'm trying not to curse tonight, but hey, you playing terrible, bro. You playing terrible. You know what I'm saying? One of them coaches that will snuff you in the locker room. You know what I mean? We need them type of coaches now. We got new age players, so we got new age coaches. You know, they cuss each other out in the chat. Why they got a game? You supposed to be playing the game, but the coach is cussing the player out on Twitter. How you got time to tweet and y'all playing the game? This that new age. You know what I'm saying? The new coaches don't get in the player's ass like they supposed to. You know what I'm saying? That's why I respect guys like shout out to Coach Prime and coaches like that that's kind of old school that get on players like, yo, you playing like straight dookie, bro. Get it together. And Coach Signetti is an old school mind type of coach. And he had Indiana going crazy last year. And trust me, because he's honest with his players. Yo, this ain't it, bro. So we need them old school coaches to come back. So again, rest in peace to Don Nelson, y'all. All right, y'all, moving on to our next segment. Y'all know I'm going to give y'all a fire artist each and every episode to tap into, whether it's hip-hop, R&B, whether it's gospel, whether it's any type of genre. You know I'm going to give y'all that fire, whether they new or old, independent. Well, all music is basically independent at this point, but at the end of the day, I'm going to give y'all some of that fire. So my profile artist for tonight is the legendary R&B singer, Darnell Jones. Most people like to say Darnell Jones. It's Darnell. Ash, what's the difference? There's no A and R in Darnell. It's Darnell, not Darnell. So shout out to Darnell Jones. My 3 Michael Jackson awards for his songs are, number 1, Love Like This. Fire must-have song on your playlist. Number 2, Backdoor, fire must-have song on your playlist. And number 3, Just a Little, fire. These songs are just, man, people don't realize how good Donell Jones' music catalog is. That people don't realize that. People just know about that, Where I Want to Be album. You know what I'm saying? And y'all barely know about that. You know what I'm saying? But those 3 songs right there, absolute fire. So again, my 3 must-have songs on that playlist. Again, number 1, Love Like This. Number 2, Backdoor. And my 3rd Michael Jackson award goes to his song, Just a Little. So make sure y'all put Donell Jones on your playlist and those 3 songs in particular. Thank me later. All right, y'all, moving on to our next segment. Y'all already know we're about to get on that flight and send them the turkey or nah. Send them the turkey or nah. Y'all know the rules of the game. We type in T to send it to turkey, or we type in N not to send it to turkey. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. All right, first one of the night, send them the turkey. And the reason why we call it send them the turkey, I covered the story episode. At the beginning of the podcast, and there was a guy that was standing there and he looked homosexual in Turkey, so the Turkish police put him in jail. So when people say and do crazy things, we put them in the turkey. So that's why it's actually a segment. So I made it to a whole segment. Shout out to the chat. They said movie theaters would be still starving. Shout out to Ebony. Music is elite. Okay. Donell Jones. Yes, the music is elite. Yes. Donell Jones and Genuine is going to do a versus on August 20th. I thought it was Donell Jones and Joe. That was announced. You sure it was Genuine? I got it different. I got Donell Jones and Joe. You sure? Because you got Genuine. I got it as Joe. Everybody, they announced it for Joe. So you sure? Because, don't get me wrong. Genuine got mad fire records. He got mad fire records. But I don't even think that's a good match. Mainly because Genuine is more of a performance type of R&B artist. Joe and Donell Jones, they guys who can, I gotta say this the right way. Those guys are not dancers, but they can perform, but they're not dancers. Genuine is a dancer, right? But musically it matches up. Yeah, I got Joe and Donell Jones. That's who's doing the verses. It's not Genuine. It's Donell Jones. It's Donell Jones and Joe. So let me know which So first one of the night, send them the turkey or nah. Y'all sending people to turkey already. A barber goes viral for saying that barbershop industry was stagnant for the last 20 years, and everybody got used to the $20 haircuts. We need to evolve in the prices and get used to the higher prices. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, a barber goes viral for saying that barbershop industry was stagnant for the last 20 years and everybody got used to the $20 cuts and need to evolve in the prices. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, hit them likes, hit the 100s. It helps with the growth of the show. If this is your first time tuning in and tapping in, I'm Ashley Lovechild. Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast? So me personally, when I seen the video go viral, I thought he was bugging. I still think he's bugging. I'm sending him to turkey. I don't give a damn if the barbershop culture have been stagnant for the last 20 years. You're still making more than enough money to do what you need to do. How can people, seriously, afford $100, $50 haircuts for real? When them same haircuts used to, for real, be $12. All right, we live in 2027, so it goes up to 20. All right, cool. 20 should be, that's the max. 20 is the max, right? And then honestly, let's keep this a buck. You charging $50 for a cut. There ain't no tip. If you paying $50 for a cut, you paying tip on top of that. Now it's a whole nother process. If you're getting a hair process on top of that. So what that means, if if you're a guy, you're lacking hair and you get like the, the head processor or whatever, you get the added hair and they cut around it, basically make you like a real haircut for real, then I could definitely understand $100, $150. I can understand it because you're actually not only doing the cut, but you're doing the hair process. So you're putting the glue, you're making it basically like, bro, got a real hairstyle, right? But when we're talking about haircuts, the same haircuts that we've been getting, and mind you, if you got braids or dreads, they still charge you the same price. You like, yo, why is this the same price as everybody else when you're not cutting the top of my head? You cutting the sides. You might be doing my face. And that's still $50? Like that doesn't make any sense. So when they say that the barbershop industry have been stagnated for 20 years, yeah, it's been stagnated not because the prices was $20, it's because the prices went up. So when you go to certain barbershops and you hear that they're charging $100, $150, $300 for a haircut, not the process, not all the everything that comes attached to that, it's going to turn people off. And my understanding in business, your business is only worth what people are willing to pay for it. So if you have a fast 20 opposed to a hard 50, that hard 50 is not going to expand your business. So you have some barbers that are still doing well, mainly because it's not the financial aspect of the cut, it's their personality. So people are buying into the barber's personality. Yo, he cool, it's cool. I'm only gonna see him once a month, but it's cool though. But if you're an asshole and you're charging, $50, $60 a cut or more, then yeah, it's gonna be stagnant. That's not act like the barbershop culture has been struggling because the prices was $20. No, when y'all start trying to go up, people like, what? Yeah, I'd rather go get me clippers and get me some mirrors and do this thing myself. So at the end of the day, that's not the real reason why. And the chat is agreeing with me. Y'all sending this to Turkey. I'm saying turkey, turkey, turkey. Turkey, pack some mashed potatoes with that. Yo, shout out to Cece. He said pack some mashed potatoes with that. Shout out to fam. Yup. It's Donnell Jones and Joe. Okay, so I wasn't going crazy. Shout out to my dog fam. I have to pay more. I have to pay more for hair. More for a haircut, nothing different. Literally the same thing. Shout out to Ebony. Yeah, honestly, the haircut industry, the barbershop industry, is crazy. It's crazy, and it's lost its ever loving mind. Like, again, the only reason why I started struggling is when they started going up. Period. And when that happened is when COVID happened. When COVID happened and when places like shut down for a little while and then they reopened, them same cuts that people was doing for $20. Now, yeah, bro, I ain't really supposed to be here right now. I cut it for 35. I cut it for 40. I bet. I don't know when we ever gonna come outside again. So I'm gonna pay for this cut. And then of course, when things go up, it never comes back down, right? So once we left COVID, a lot of the barbers kept their prices right where they were. Mind you, people were still back outside and everything isn't normal, but y'all get the point that I'm making. So at the end of the day, that's not why the barbershop industry struggled because the haircuts was $20. No, because y'all went up. And if you think about it, right? And again, I'm not trying to count people's pockets, but if you think about it, most barbershops and most barbers see at least 8 to 10 people a day. At least 8 to 10. At bare minimal, most of those people are getting regular haircuts. We're not even speaking on the people who's going to tip, the people that might get a hair process on top of that, that is doing something special with their hair. So, like, come on, like that to me, that's just all the way bananas. Like, I'm just not jacking it. I'm not. I don't agree with this barber that went viral. Like, to me, he's speaking on it because he benefits on continue to charge $50 a haircut or $100 a haircut. I've never paid $100 for a haircut. I never will. Just the thought process. When I started getting my haircuts by myself, it was $8. Then when I became an adult, it was 12. Then somewhere around COVID, it went to 20. Then when we was in the heart of COVID, it went to 35, 40. When we left COVID, it stayed at $45, $50, which is crazy. So yeah, I don't agree, and I'm not jacking it. Shout out to my dog fam. Before I paid $100 for a haircut, I'm gonna buy a pair of clippers and do it myself. That's a fact. That is a fact. Like, and you could cut your hair when you want to cut your hair. You don't have to worry about going to the barber. The inconvenience. But with us as brothers, meaning y'all know what I mean by the brothers, right? Because y'all know I hate saying the word black because that's not what we are. We're not 3/5 of a person or people, right? Sweet, short and sweet. We go to the barbershop for the connection. It's literally a place where us as brothers in the community we connect. It's not just a place where we get a haircut. It's a place where we get a rap. Can the brothers get a rap? We really get to have a fellowship. We figure out where the cookouts is at, where we could play ball, where we could possibly pick up and do business. The barbershop is just not a place for haircuts. It's a place for the brothers to congregate, talk about real things, and the conversations could get passionate, pause, in the things that we're talking about. But at the same time, there's a level of respect, and it's like Switzerland in the barbershop. So the fact that some barbers is more so thinking on that type of time and not looking at the overall essence of a barbershop, because the essence is what drives the money. When people just like coming to the barbershop just to chill, that brings money without having to stress their haircut by itself. So I'm right there with y'all. I'm sending this all the way to Turkey. Shout out to my dog Keesaw in the building, man. Appreciate you for tuning and tapping in. Remember, y'all hit them likes, hit the 100s. It definitely helps with the growth of the show. But he said a $50 haircut plus a $50 plus cut is crazy. I agree wholeheartedly. Shout out to my dog fam. What you talk about in the barbershop stays in the barbershop. That's a fact. But I do give a little tidbit on the barbershop talk. Outside of that, everything else stays in the barbershop. Everything stays in the barbershop. Outside of that, I pick out one thing to speak to y'all about. That's barbershop talk. But other than that, everything else stays in the barbershop. You know what I'm saying? But yes, for a fact, what we talk about in the shop stays in the shop. That is a fact. In every community, all across the world, all across the U.S., in a cultured community, there's always a cultured barbershop. And at that cultured barbershop, everything that I just said happens there. Period, point blank. So, yeah, man. So shout out to y'all in the chat, because y'all agree with me. Everybody sent that thing straight to Turkey. We not having it. We not jacking that barber talk about, yeah. We gotta grow with the barbershop community, and y'all gotta get comfortable with these $50, $100 haircuts. $100? Yeah, dog. Yeah. I got me like 3 sets of clippers already in there. I got my trimmers, I got my liners and I got the other joint you put on after, and I might get a fourth one because the fourth one do some other like special joint where I get my sides all nice and everything like that with all the mirrors. Dude, like, hey, $100. Yeah, nah. Because honestly, it's the principle. It's not necessarily the price. It's the principle. You're paying for the same haircut and don't have braids and don't have dreads. If you have braids and dreads, they charge you the same thing. They like, yo, but you cutting the sides though. Yeah, nah, bro, it's still the same, which is crazy. But it is what it is, right? Shout out to y'all in the chat as always. All right, y'all, moving on to our next sending the turkey or nah. Damn. Sending the turkey or nah. Again, we type in T to send it to turkey. We type it in not to send it to turkey. Former NBA player Monte Ellis says that if you was to swap him for Stephen Curry onto the championship winning Warriors teams, the results would be the exact same. Again, former NBA player Monte Ellis says if you swap him and Stephen Curry onto a championship winning Warriors teams or the winning Warriors teams, the results will still be the exact same. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Are you sending that to Turkey or no? Are you sending that to Turkey or no? Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Hit them likes, hit them 100s. I will say this. I will say this before I let you know whether I'm sending this to Turkey or not. Monte Ellis was possibly the best player on the Warriors at the time Steph Curry got drafted. I would say at the time that Steph Curry got drafted, Monte Ellis was the better overall player. Yes. They was on the same team. When Steph started making his leeway, the Warriors decided to go with 2 point guards in their starting five. Monte Ellis was electric, and Steph Curry was coming into his own. He was getting, he was getting in the weight room a little bit, and he was going through his growing pains. But you start seeing the maturation, right? Steph Curry probably came into his own for real, probably the 3rd or 4th year into the league. Now, with that being said, when he first came to the team, Monte Ellis was probably the best player on the team. He was definitely a better player than Steph Curry, probably Steph Curry's first 2 years in the league, for sure. But can you swap Monte Ellis at his best and Curry at his best when they was winning championships and still get the same result? I've been watching basketball a long time. I even played a little basketball too. And I'm going to send Monte Ellis to Turkey for this, for sure. For sure. I don't agree if you swap him at his best, Steph Curry, that you're going to get the same exact results. Now, if he's saying, if we just fast forward to the finals and you just put me in the finals, it's going to be the same exact thing, I still don't agree with that at all. I don't, because Monte Ellis was a great player. He can shoot, he can score. Monte Ellis was a 3-level scorer, but he wasn't what Steph Curry is as a shooter. No. He wasn't what Steph Curry is as a facilitator. And he does not play without the ball nowhere near the way Steph Curry does on his level. Steph Curry probably is the best off-ball offensive player we've ever seen. And we have quite a few monsters that we've seen in NBA history. Guys that play off the ball. Steph Curry, he's arguably the best. Mind you, he's a point guard. Mind you that. So I don't think if you swap that you get the same exact thing. Because let's keep it real. In order to get to the championship, or to play in the championship, excuse me, you have to get to the championship. I don't even think they get to the championship if you swap Monte Ellis for Steph Curry at Monte Ellis best with those Warriors teams. Mind you, I think Monte Ellis was a great player. He was electric, 3-level scorer. But it's not the same. It's not. Respectfully, it's not the same. Another aspect of Steph Curry's game that Monte Ellis lacked was leadership. It was leadership. A part of the Warriors ascending, especially when Steph Curry was ascending as a player, was leadership and his style of leadership. So to say, Monte Ellis, as much as I respect your game, to say that, yo, if you swap you for Steph Curry at his best and at your best, it will be the exact same thing? Nah, bro. Mind you, in order for the Warriors to get to that next level, the Warriors, when they was like, I don't want to say baby Warriors, but y'all know what I mean. When you see a good team and they just young, right? They used to struggle with the Clippers. Steph Curry had to go through his injuries and be battle tested and get stronger, get in that weight room. And once he was able to do that, they started beating the dog shit out of the Clippers. And not only that, Steph Curry also developed his handle even more. Steph Curry always had like a little cool handle. It was cool. But in the NBA, that shit got tight and elite. So much to the point where the Clippers was not even, they was no longer in their way. Once they was able to get over the mountaintop, the Clippers never beat them again ever in any type of important basketball game. With Monte Ellis, I don't think he gets better. He don't get the better over Chris Paul. And I'm tough on Chris Paul. I'm a tough critic on Chris Paul. I think Chris Paul is great, but to me, I ain't even going to go down that road right now. But I don't think Monte Ellis is getting past Chris Paul in a playoff. As efficient as Chris Paul was, and as good as Chris Paul was with the Clippers in particular, with Lob City, he had those defenders with Matt Barnes and the other guys who could really defend. He was also an efficient outside shooter. So no. I'm going to have to send him to Turkey, all the way to Turkey. Shout out to the chat. Y'all going in the chat. Shout out to Keesaw, Turkey. Monte completely lost his mind with this. I wasn't expecting that, yo. I wasn't expecting that. Shout out to Keesaw, fam. I'm a Golden State Warriors fan. I think Elliott would, or Ellis, you meant Ellis. I think Ellis would have won 2 or 3 championships with the Golden State Warriors. I don't see it, bro. I don't see it. Honestly, I don't see it. I think Monte Ellis was a great player. If you remember Monte Ellis, I'm not saying you, fam. You're an actual fan of the Warriors. But anybody else that remember Monte Ellis when Monte Ellis was like really giving it to him. And I'm not pausing that because we're talking about sports, right? But when he was really night to night with it, it still wasn't the same as Steph Curry. I just got to be honest with you. And not just as an individual thing. I'm talking about somebody that propels the team. Monte Ellis is one of those guys who can have 50 in the game and the team will lose. If Steph Curry scores 50, the Warriors done won by 25. Steph Curry play dictates wins. Monte Ellis play doesn't dictate wins. And if that and mind you, they was on the same team, playing the same position, and they found a ways to phase Monte out. So much to the point where you don't even remember Monte for real. no disrespect, but you really don't remember Monte because Monte played right before Steph, and Steph did what Steph did. Championships and ascending the way that he has, being on multiple, countless short lists of the MVP conversation. He's worldly renowned as one of the best point guards that ever play in the game. We don't put Monte in that conversation. We've never said Monte Ellis was even the best point guard in the league. Steph Curry has been widely known as one of the best point guards in the league for years. Like it's not even close. It's not even close. Shout out to West Philly Black in the building. Appreciate you for tapping in. You need to be drug tested for saying that. Shout out to CC. You a hater. They said you a hater, Ash. Monte Ellis better than MJ and Kobe combined. Oh my God. Yo, he said Monte Ellis better than MJ and Kobe combined. Ash, you a hater. Don't disrespect the bench Mamba, aka ear bench like that. Yo, y'all are funny, yo. Damn. Y'all are funny. And mind you, I gave Monte his flowers on top of that. Like I thought Monte was electric, but it not the same. Not the same. Ellis, can I play off the can't Ellis can't play off the ball good like Steph Curry. Hold on, Ellis, can I play off the ball that good like Curry? I think you was missing a word. I think you're saying that he can't play as good off the ball like Curry. No, he can't. No, he can't. And in order for him to score, you could leave Monte Ellis like he needs the ball to score. He not the spot up guy. He not going to chill in the corner. That's not his game. That's not his game. Because if that was his game, he would have been able to stay in Golden State. That wasn't his game. He needs the ball. That's why they sent him to Milwaukee at the time. That's what I'm saying. I remember, like, I was really rocking with Monte Ellis at the time. And he's a 3-level scorer. But he's not an off-the-ball guy. He's a guy that needs the ball in order to get what he needs to do in all 3 phases. Athletic, shifty. But he ain't Steph, man. Like, come on. And I'm talking about at his best. I'm not talking about all time at his, in the career. I'm talking about at Monte Ellis' best. Before injuries, where he has all his tools, right mind, body, spirit. And then you're talking about Steph Curry, right mind, body, and spirit. Steph Curry leadership. His ability to play off the ball. His ability to actually develop his handle to the next level where dudes is afraid of his handle. Because that was a part of the reason why Steph got so many damn 3-point shots. Because dudes couldn't play up on him because he crossed him up. Then dudes started like, yo, forget it. If he crossed me, right? He got to beat me to the rim. He's like, all right, cool. I'm just going to give up the ball. Yeah, Draymond, find me. I'm going to go get open. Monte Ellis didn't do that. He don't do that. So I disagree. I don't think he plays well off the ball, me personally. Shout out to West Philly, excuse me. Sixers got the new super team. Do they got a super team? No, they don't. They have a really good team, but they don't have a super team. A super team would be LeBron, prime LeBron, and prime Embiid with prime Jalen and Maxey and the boys, right? And VJ Escombe. That would be a super team. Right now, that's not a super team. That's a good team, and it fits because Embiid is at a later stage of his career, and they don't really need Embiid to win for real. He's the cherry on top. Pause. Now, that sounds crazy. But he's the cherry on top basically for his production. If you get a healthy Embiid, which I think we will as far as in health and in the season and being able to play and being available, because of the leadership of LeBron James. And mind you, LeBron James still can play, but he's not 2010, 11, 12, 13 LeBron James. He's 42-year-old man. And ain't nothing wrong with being 42 because we still hold it down. But he's not the same athletically. But his mind is on a whole nother level. He know what it's like to play, be up by 5, and keep the lead. He know what it's like to be down by 12 points and tell his team, yo, we got this, chill, chill. So that's where LeBron is going to be very key on this team. And you got like a guy like Jaylen Brown, who is on top of his game. Jaylen Brown is probably top three in the lead as far as offense and defense. He's a two-way player. You can't name many guys in the lead right now. I'm not talking about all time. I'm talking about right now that's better offensive player and defensive player all at the same time like Jaylen Brown. Can't name 3. Maybe 1, but not 3. So you got him with Tyrese, a hungry Tyrese. I love the way Tyrese play. A young player in VJ Edgecombe. Not a super team, great team. Their age matter because everybody's still going to have a role. Everybody's going to have a role. So they have a good team. I like their team. I like their team. I have them right now, I would say 3rd in the East right now. 3rd in the East right now. I have the Knicks ahead of them. I want to put Philly at number 2. But me personally, and I'm in the minority when I say this, y'all better look out for Indiana. People like, what? Indiana. We seen what Indiana looked like with a healthy Halliburton. With a healthy Halliburton. Guess what? Halliburton is healthy. He's back. That team is going to look completely different with Halliburton. Period. Mind you, they still lost Miles Turner, but Halliburton is the engine that runs Indiana. The shooters shoot, they play defense, and it's suited for the East. There's no team that scares Indiana. Indiana scares every other team because you just don't know what you're going to get. So I got Indy at 2 or 3. I wouldn't mind putting Philly at number 2 just based on their starting 5. But I trust Indiana's bench more than I trust Philly bench right now. They haven't played a game together. So we're talking about for the season now. For the playoffs, hey, Philly, I'm going to be putting my money on Philly a lot of them playoff games. So they got a good team. They definitely got a good team. Spurs, Thunder, Timberwolves, Nuggets are ahead of the Warriors. Yeah, I don't know if this is your first time tuning and tapping in, West Philly. I did a breakdown of the NBA East and West. The 3 teams that you named, right? Because the West is only a 3-team race. It's only a 3-team race. It's only a 3-team race. Let's be real here. Spurs, Thunder, Timberwolves. The conversation is over. Those are the teams that we will see representing the West for the finals. Period. Now, the second-tier teams, the teams that may have a good season, they might be exciting to watch, but they not touching none of those 3 teams in the playoffs. The Lakers, first, second-tier team, Utah, and Denver. There's those 3 second-tier teams. Those 3. Now, the other tier teams that will make the playoffs, but they're not better than the second-tier teams, Suns, Houston. Yeah, we could wrap that up. Everybody else, Golden State might be in that conversation, and that 3rd-tier team, they may make a play-in, but Golden State is not good. They're not good. It's not enough. It's not enough. It's not enough. Even if they would have brought in LeBron, it still wouldn't have been enough. They probably would have got into that second-tier team. But I love Yaxel, my Michigan guy, but it's not going to be enough. The West is the West of the West. The East The East is beef. Why you think you seeing teams maneuver the way they maneuver? Why you think you seeing Miami still on the phone like, yo, what's up with Steph? Why you think you heard Boston like, yo, what's up with Steph? We trying to get Steph. Boston Celtics was trying to get Steph. That's not a rumor. Stevens made the call. Yo, what's up with Steph? We got the package for Steph. What's happening? Holla. Golden State was, nah, that ain't it, bro. That ain't it. If I'm Golden State, as much as I wouldn't want to trade Steph, you only left with two options. As of right now, what are you trying to do? You're not going to win the finals. You have no choice, and I hate to say it because I love seeing great players finish their career on the same team, right? We see it with Jordan. We see it with Kobe. I think Steph Curry is one of those players that should always be a Golden State Warrior. I don't want to see him on the other team. I don't want to see him in the Boston uniform. I don't want to see him with Miami. But if I'm Golden State, I may trade Curry. Like, this shit is over. Shit is over. I would have traded, I might be wrong for saying this, but I would have traded Draymond a couple years ago. I'm just saying, no disrespect. He's been a solid player throughout his career. He's a champion, great defender. But yeah, like this is over with. We need new energy because we're not getting the free agents to come and add and fight for a championship. Mind you, Curry, what, 35, 36? Am I wrong, y'all? He's like 35, 36. Jimmy Butler, you're not going to see Jimmy no time soon. Probably in February. Got young Yaks, love Yaks. He's a mismatch nightmare. Moody is hurt. Who else is worth talking about? It's over. It's over. Like, if I'm going to stay, I would. But me personally, I'm not trading stuff for a bag of peanuts. You can't get me on the phone if I'm going to State unless you're talking about 3 first rounds, your very best player, and a young player with potential. You cannot get me on the phone if that is not a part of the conversation just to start off. Couldn't get me on the phone if I'm Golden State. I need 3 first rounders. Because mind you, Steph is past his prime, but he's still a piece for any team that's trying to win a championship. Steph is that piece if you need that point guard. 3 first rounds. And I need your best player. And I want the player with the most potential who's under 23 on your team. Then we can talk, my guy. Other than that, get off my phone. Steph Curry we talking about. So, yeah. So y'all know y'all basketball, man. I love that. I love to see that in the chat. Fam, Magic Johnson or Steph Curry, who was the better point guard? I got to go with Magic. I'm going with Magic. The reason why I'm going with Magic, because Magic did it at a time. You got to remember, he had great players, right? He got drafted to a situation where there was great players. But the way they did the draft back then is how they did the draft, right? But Magic bogarted his style of play on the Lakers. The Lakers didn't play the way the Lakers played before Magic. The Lakers have a brand of basketball because of Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson probably has the most known nickname in the world. The most known nickname. Yeah, definitely Magic. Definitely Magic. Yeah, for sure. And Magic played at a time when it was absolute beef. And I'm not saying saying that Steph Curry didn't play at the time. It was absolute beef. But these are both legends. So we really talking about A players. We talking about Hall of Famers. We talking about guys who are great. Magic did it in a different way, and Steph did it in a different way. One thing that they both share is leadership. They had guys that played with Magic that would die for Magic. And same thing with Steph Curry. Why you think when you see guys try to talk to Steph crazy on the court, Steph just walk away. He let Draymond handle that. Draymond like, nah, you talk to me, dog. You talk to me. Would you what we getting active? And that's when you know you have a real great player who's a leader of the team. That's how you know. When your teammates like you. That's how you know. And he led in a very different way. And each leader is different. All our champions lead very differently. Michael Jordan led with an iron fist. You hear me? What? You said what? Punch you in the eye. Hold that 2-piece in the biscuit. Go ahead and train to look at that. Yo, what happened? Mike punched me in the face. Oh. Can you imagine being on a team and somebody socked you out and it happened to be the best player on the team and the best anybody got for you is oh. Oh, what you mean? Oh, like he punched me in the eye. What you talking about? Nah, he wrong. He got to issue an apology. You never heard Michael Jordan issue an apology to the public for Steve Kerr. He may have told Steve Kerr, my bad, you know what I'm saying? I was tripping. But Draymond had to issue an apology to what you call him's mama, to the fans, to the internet, to the NBA. He had to apologize to everybody. But each leader ran their situation differently. Kobe was an asshole. Everybody say Kobe was an asshole to his teammates. And what Kobe says, Mamba mentality or go home. But you know what teammates that didn't call Kobe an asshole is the players that worked hard. A guy like Derek Fisher, who was really great in college and got to the league and became a great role player. You never heard Derek Fisher say one bad thing about Kobe. He was the beneficiary of a lot of passes from Kobe. So if you had that Mamba mentality, Kobe fuck with you. If you wasn't on that type of time, you ain't gonna be in LA for too long during the Kobe era. So shout out to fam. Embiid lost a lot of weight. Yeah, he should. I mean, your job is to put. I don't understand that with athletes, when your job is to be an athlete, when you're a football player, basketball player, and your weight is a part of what you have to control. And guess what? It's not a hard thing to do if you eat right. If you eat right and you live accordingly, managing your weight will work for you instead against you. When guys overeat, when guys are too heavy, is because they're not following the protocol and the program of the NBA. That's the only reason why. And we had several guys get too heavy to play in the league at their position, right? They not following the protocol. They going home and they stuff in their face. They not working out. They getting injured all the time. They carry too much weight. Yeah, that's why they get him up out of it. Embiid is just a different type of talent, and he got paid a whole bunch of money, so they got to endure Embiid. But I think we'll see the best version of Embiid this year for sure. I really believe that. A better version we've seen in a long time. Yax London boy. Yeah, Yax is my dude. Yax is my dude. You know what I'm saying? I'm a big Michigan fan, both football and basketball. Those are my teams. Those are my teams, period. I do root for Colorado in football because of Coach Prime. And I did root for Georgetown because of Coach John Thompson in basketball. But Michigan have always been my team, period. And Yax is my guy. I seen what Yax was doing last year. It was like, yo. And it was crazy when draft time was coming around. People was trying to give him knocks because he's 23 years old. But they're like, nah, he's 25, he's 26. Dude 23, like chill. He's 23, then people will kill me. 23 old now? 23 old now. Back in 2004, you would have loved a 23-year-old senior who had a high ceiling, who had been through the grit, grind, had real seasons of working out in the training room and be a man among boys. Now, oh, you 23, oh, you old as shit, bruh. Damn. Yeah, we looking for him at 19, 20. Okay, I'm a couple years older than that, so what? Like, let's keep it real. In the NBA, you're not going to be young forever. The prime in your NBA for most players is from 23, 24 to like 32. is when you're gonna see guys cook. He's coming in right at the great time, and he has Steph Curry for his leadership. Y'all forget Yax is what 6'9", 6'10", 240, athletic, got the jumper crazy, footwork, and he get to the rack when he want to. Come on, like what are we talking about? What are we talking about? Shout out to fam. I would trade Jimmy Butler and Draymond. I'm not opposed to that. I'm not opposed to that at all. Again, we're not going to see Jimmy Butler until sometime February. So by February, it's going to be over. It's going to be over. Draymond, I get why they keep Draymond. Draymond is a staple of the Golden State Warriors as long as Steph Curry wears a jersey with the Golden State Warriors. That is a fact. I understand why they don't trade him. And I get his place on that team. I get his place in the history of the Warriors. Respect to Draymond. He's been a great defender, great player, but he's not the scorer. He's not, his game is not sexy. The only time we really seen Draymond really cook for real is in the finals. And in that same finals, he gets kicked out. Then he misses the next game because he got kicked out of the last game. And then they lose that seventh game. That's the only time I really seen Draymond like cook for real offensively. But outside of that, if I'm the Golden State Warriors, I'm thinking about the benefit, the future for my team. Yeah, Draymond is not a part of that future, and I want to keep Steph if I can keep him. But I'm trying to build my team. This shit is over, and I got so much respect for Steph as an owner. If I'm the owner, I'm like, yo, I don't want to see you here. And we struggle city. This is a struggle bus, bro. We want to see you thrive. And while you're thriving, we could get, fair compensation in return. So I just think this is a waste of Steph's Curry's prime by staying with Golden State at this time. Shout out to Keesaw. He laughed it out loud. Shout out to fam. Steve Kerr don't like to start young rookies. Well, he has no choice. He has no choice. He has to start Yaxel. He has no choice. He has no choice. He has no choice. He has to start him. He has no choice. He has no choice. Yaxel is one of the best players on their team already. I think Yax is going. Like I said, I think Golden State is going to be exciting to watch. But when we're talking about playing for a championship, they're not doing that. They're not doing that. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next segment. You already know what time it is. It's time to rap. This segment is brought to you by Button Snaps, where you get the finest of movies, shows, documentaries, and original content for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. Again, that's Button Snaps. That's the word button, hyphenated sign, and the word snaps.com. Hold on, let me go up here before I think I missed something. Shout out to fam. That's the reason Golden State drafted Yaxel Lundenberg, because he's not a young rookie like the other rookies. Okay, I get your point now. I get your point. Yeah, he's basically a man, pause. You know what I mean? Like he's ready to play, ready to go because he's not young. I see your point. So he's not like your typical 18, 19-year-old player is what basically what you're saying. I get that. I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. But even if Yax was 20 and he looked the way he looked now, yeah, Curry, we don't care what you like. Is what you're going to do. It's coming from the top. If I'm the owner, hey, Yax shall start. I'm just saying, that's just me personally. But I get the point. That's an excellent point. I forget that Yax is 23. That's 3. Okay, so I got, all right, so bet. So I got that. All right, bet. All right, cool. All right, y'all. So moving on to our first hot topic of the night. Nolan Wells. Friends, I really stress that word, friends, say they're living in fear after his death They're now speaking out about their experience. They have to stay inside, and safety could and is an issue. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Nolan Wells, again, friends, say that they're living in fear after his death, and they're now speaking out about their experience having to stay inside and having safety issues. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. I've seen parts of the interview, and I've seen like a good 20 minutes of the interview, and I don't think it's a great idea of them speaking before they get their opportunity in court. I think them being able to speak before they have some sort of findings in court, I think it's extremely reckless, and it may be a base for people for the judicial system not to judge it fairly, because when you have people speak out who's a part of a case, people start taking sides. And again, none of us know the truth but them. But when people hear things and they open up their mouth and they're talking, it's like, yeah, some of this don't make no damn sense. People's actions don't make any sense. And their actions don't make any sense. No, I'm not making any aspersions on if someone is guilty or not in their case, because the findings are still being found. But at the end of the day, I think it's in poor taste and a bad deal for those young men and supposed friends of Nolan Wells to speak out prior to of the real findings of what this is about to, of the investigation. It's still fresh, it's still ongoing, and them speaking out comes to me feels like guilt. And I think in this particular polarizing situation, you get an image consultant, and the image consultant would tell you, hey, get up there and talk, because this favor you in court. People can't judge it properly. They might more likely have to have a mistrial, and by the time y'all go to trial, it's going to be much time from now, and you may just have to whatever the findings may be, let the investigation do. But hey, speak out, because it may benefit you whether people agree with you or not. Especially if people don't agree with you, they're not going to be able to judge you fairly in the eyes of the law. And again, if they find enough evidence to go to grand jury, then of course they will go to trial. But the investigation is still ongoing. So we just want to know the facts as the people. I know for a fact, let's throw color out. If me and my friends go somewhere and they happen to be brothers, that's what I say, let's throw color out. Nobody's white and everybody's brothers. Y'all know what I mean by brothers. And something was to happen to me, I don't believe their steps would be what those young men chose to do with Nolan Wells. Nobody would have to come look for a cell phone. Nobody would have to ask, where's my son? Because accidents do happen. Somebody's my friend and something happened to them, I have to tell their loved one as soon as I see them. When I shut down my social media, I hire a lawyer. It's not necessarily an admission of guilt, but something happened. And I'm hiring a lawyer because I'd rather look guilty at home opposed to looking innocent in jail. let the courts be the courts. Hey, y'all gotta prove that I did what y'all think I did. So the fact that these young men felt compelled to speak out, and I honestly believe that they was advised to do this. I don't think they necessarily wanted to do this, but it was in poor taste. It's tone deaf as hell because the investigation have yet to reach its conclusion. That's why it's tone deaf. That's why it's in poor taste, because we don't know the facts 100%. And now what we hear about Nolan Wells' body is that by the time they got his body on the slab, and I'm trying to be respectful when I say this because I know there are loved ones listening and may listen to this, that his body was so affected just by being on the slab. By the time they got to him, now it flubs up the autopsy, and they can't make a proper analysis. They have to do other things to come to a conclusion, but instead of 100% conclusion, now they working at a 98% or 95%. So this is all the way messy and raggedy. But there's a trend that the young men, their parents, their loved ones are connected. And we know how the state of Mississippi plays about people that have the protection, whether it's political or financial or other things. And they may be the beneficiary of it if they are guilty, but we don't know for sure because the investigation is still ongoing. But I tell you one thing, something is not adding up. I tell you another thing, this smells fishy as fuck. No pun intended. So I think this is in poor taste and terrible advisement. Shout out to Keesaw. Let the grand jury look at everything. Right. Again, the grand jury can only go by the evidence that's presented to them. That's how the grand jury works. They can only do that. Same thing with child support. The child support, they can only take whatever's on your W-2. That's it. Hey, I want 100,000. I don't make 100,000, Judge. You see, I make 25,000. Hey, and you can't take 25,000. It's a quarter of that, right? So y'all get the point that I'm making when it comes to the grand jury. Facts. That's the reason. The truth always come out eventually. That's a fact. It will. But again, when people have the protection, whether it's political, financial, or otherwise, in the state of Mississippi, when you are a certain complexion and you have connection, whether it's political, financial, or otherwise, what Will Smith say in Bad Boys? Like old Mike Larry, we gonna be alright. For sure. And it's very unfortunate because they speak on losing Nolan Wells as if he was their brother. And it could be very well, it might be that. We don't know. We don't know. I played football, I played basketball, I boxed a little, and there's nothing more powerful than subcultures. Football teams, basketball teams, music, podcasting is nothing more powerful than subcultures. I know I have friends that happen to be white. If you're a white person and you call me a nigga in front of them, they will punch you in the eye. So it could be that, maybe, but their actions don't reflect what happened of a friend. So that's what I gotta say about that. Again, shout out to Keesaw. Mourning Nolan should be the priority. That's a fact. See, that's the main thing we haven't spoke on. is that nobody's speaking on his mourning. Nobody's speaking on that. The fact that the family is hurting right now. People are stressing these guys and what are they feeling like and why they can't go out and why they feel like it kind of gives that mood like you feeling like you're guilty. That's what it feels and seems like, to be honest with you. Shout out to Keesaw. I'm gonna pin that. Shout out to Keesaw. Shout out to Keesaw for that. That's lit. That's a fact. Nobody's talking about the mourning. Nobody's talking about his death in the sense of the fact where people are really hurting, that really loved him, that knew him, and was expecting him to come home just like how they came home. Then you got phone conversations and they trying to authenticate. I can't get the word out right because I'm so pissed off. But they trying to make sure that the phone conversation on the emergency call is accurate, whether it's authentic. And that's also a process. That's what I'm saying. All of this stuff is ongoing. And the fact that they're speaking on that from that vein and that mood and their understanding is tone deaf, and it's just terrible counsel, me personally. Shout out to y'all in the chat. Again, y'all hit them likes, hit the 100s. It definitely helps with the growth of the show. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic in Time to Rap. Power Book 3. Power Book 3. Power Book 3 has came to an ending. Power Book 3, Raising Kanan, Season 5. Complete review and thoughts. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, Power Book 3, Raising Kanan, Season 5. Complete review and thoughts. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. If you don't know, yeah, make sure y'all go check out Power Book 3 if you're a Power fan. I'm a big Power fan. I've been heavily. I have heard. Excuse me. See, I'm on live, so I mess up from time to time. I have heavily critiqued Power throughout the years. There's nothing better than OG Power. I wish they would bring Omari Hardrick back and just stop playing. Write him back into the damn script. He escaped that. He escaped it. He left the club in the emergency van with Tommy. I just wish that they would just like the fans want that. The fuck? Like the fans want it. Why not? I digress. In my opinion, Raising Kanan, because of Kanan, his character is very intriguing. And the fact that we got a Raising Kanan series by itself, the prequel of 50 Cent's character, Kanan, was absolutely marvelous when we got it. Absolutely marvelous. Now, the season in itself, I binge watched it. Took me about 3 days to watch all, 8 episodes. And some of it was very clunky. One thing that is a Power staple, and they don't care, is that when people die, they die. Like they build so much time building this character up, then when they're gone, it's like we don't see the after effect. Nothing lingers. They just gone, right? So that was one of the things I noticed immediately. They're just gone. When Uncle Lou died, for those who don't know, Kanan shot Uncle Lou. When he died, it was like there was no lingering process when he passed. The only people that was really affected as far as what they showed was Uncle Marvin and Rock on how she's supposed to navigate losing her brother and protecting her son, which is Kanan. So these deaths, when people have been built up, have been worked on all these years, when they pass, it's like, yeah, all right, we're trying to move this forward. And then they bring us other characters that we start to get, hey, yeah, we starting to get into those characters, and they kill them off and we act like nothing happened. So this particular season was decent. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't off your socks. It was decent. And the only reason I'm saying it's decent is because of the storytelling. The acting is top notch. The acting, when it comes to the family of Canaan, it's top notch. Top notch. Uncle Marvin is easily the best character written on Raising Canaan. Easily. It's not even close. His arc, how he started and where we ended up. People love Uncle Marvin so much. It's like one of those moments where it feels like, because, you know, Power have these characters that they develop, some characters that they develop that's so beloved. And when they're gone, like the fans is ready to ride out. So everybody been putting up Uncle Marvin obituaries. And you know now Canaan, young Canaan is the op. Like, mind you, his character is dead in real life, but young Canaan is the op. If we see Canaan in the streets, it's over, right? So his character is so beloved, and he was a driving force as far as how they written his character. Mind you, London Brown is an excellent actor. On top of that, he conveyed those emotions and what they needed him to do throughout the series. The acting of Patina Miller is powerful. Powerful. Just like the word power. Powerful. This woman has the best female character in any Power universe. Or any Power show, I should say. She's the best female character in all the Power universe. And she's probably, arguably, top 2-3 characters ever in Power. Nobody's ahead of Ghost. Nobody's ahead of Omari Hardrick based on him being Ghost and what he did as Ghost. And then that's when the argument happens, because then you could say Tommy, or you could say Patina Miller, or you could say Rock, right? Or you could say Rock or Tommy. Or Tommy or Rock. Or you could say Tommy and Kanan, right? But either way, she is so excellent as Raquel. I believed every second of it. And what's real crazy is how she speak as her character as Raquel and how she really speak off camera. But as a character on Raising Kanan, she did such an amazing job carrying the show that season 5, I don't want to say it was like a walk in the park for her, but she made everything look effortless. That's how good she is. Now, Jukebox. I believe her real name is Haley Kilgore. I hope I'm saying it right. If I said your last name wrong, I apologize. But Haley, as Jukebox, she was so believable, so amazing as well. And to see the original Power and see how it ended up, because I kept thinking, where is the turning point? Because Kanan ends up shooting Jukebox in OG Power. What would make a cousin shoot his cousin over a kid he really don't care for, that he been finessing the whole time, and now he care about him a little bit, but you don't shoot your cousin over a kid that you care about just a little bit? What the hell happened? What did she do to make him not even second guess his chance of bodying her? And now I see what he did as his character, and I see what it turned her into, because It affected her directly. She lost her pop. She lost the only person that was in her corner for real that she could ever really depend on. In every arc that she had on the show, the father was the common denominator of majority of it, as far as her safe place, as far as growth, and as far as understanding life. She did an amazing job. There's nothing better than season 1. Season 2 was also pretty good. But this season in particular, season 5, was good. It was good. I give it a 7 out of 10. Overall, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Give it a 7. It was a bit clunky, but 7 out of 10 overall. And the only reason why it was a 7 out of 10 because of the acting of those actors. We barely got Uncle Lou, obviously, in the 5th season. Uncle Lou is another great actor on the show, the character that plays Uncle Lou. I can't think of the brother's name, but he does an amazing job as well, too. I remember seeing him in Snowfall, and that character in Snowfall and him as Uncle Lou, you wouldn't think it's the same person based on how they portrayed. He was able to portray a Cali dude and a New York dude very well, to be honest with you. He did an amazing job. So, and it was some other characters that was very intriguing in season 5, right? With Breeze, we finally got Breeze. I think the guy that I believe Shamik Moore. I hope I'm saying his name right. Again, I wasn't on board with him playing Breeze because even though he's a great actor, when we kept hearing Breeze, in my mind, I kept thinking about somebody that had a more dominating presence physically, pause, like somebody that's tall and kind of like muscled out. That was like my thought process of the level of gangsterism that we kept hearing from all the way from OG Power. And you have him show up, and I can understand why they cast him. He bodied the role. He bodied the role. So a shout out to him as well. I thought it was 7 out of 10, but the acting is what made it 7 out of 10. The story is what brought that 10 down to a 7. The storyline was very clunky, and the deaths did not matter. It did not matter because once somebody died, they didn't lay in that shit. When Pops and Smack or Smoke or the couple with Wendell Pierce and the lady, she's a newer actor, at least in my mind. They did a great job. Snaps and Pop, I think their name is. When they died, it was like they died. It was over. And mind you, they was a pivotal part in the story from season 4. Shit, from season 3, it was a pivotal part. No, there was a pivotal part in the series in season 4. So when they died, it was like they died. It was a wrap. All right, cool. It's over. Shout out to Tony Danza. He did an amazing job as Stefano. Like one of my favorite lines ever. He was like, unique, Mr. Ubiquitous. He kept calling unique ubiquitous. So, I'm going to miss the show to some degree, seeing that cast act, but they got to do better with the storyline. I have to be honest, the pen is not that strong, in my opinion. Wholeheartedly, I mean that for real. It could be a whole lot better and tighter, in my opinion. But yeah, when Uncle Marvin died, yeah, it was real out here. It was real out here. People was, I seen obituaries on social media, and I'm like, yo, ain't no way. Ain't no way y'all did a whole obituary. And then again, when Uncle Lou died, nobody said nothing. Nobody was like, yo, shout out to Uncle Lou, rest in peace. Nah, nobody did none of that. They was just like, why? We're going to keep it humpy. Let's move that along, right? So, but another part of my critique about Power, on the reason why it's so clunky, is that they don't release it properly. You have, 4 or 5 shows? Power should be on all year long. It should be on all year long. Instead of 10 episodes or 8 episodes, it should be 15. It give you time to flush out the characters a little bit more. It give you time to linger in certain storylines a little bit more for people to care about, and have people have a proper send-off and tell the story properly without being so fortuitous. Like anytime they need something, they just like something happened and and the snitch is talking. Just so happened that snitch walked past a Pookie in them that we've never heard of Pookie in them, and they just happen to know the person that the snitch know, and that's how the snitch ends up dead, right? So it's a bit lazy. I've been saying that for a while. But if I'm Power, I'm doing 15 episodes and I'm releasing them one at a time. So that way when one go off, the next one comes on. And I'm going to keep rotating that thing all year round. And they don't do that. They don't do that. The next Power we may get, what, 2027? 2027, you're missing out on the opportunity. We in August of 2026. Why not have a Power ready for August? Why not? Have one ready for August, ready to go. And make it 15 episodes again to what I just said. So it's very lazy, but I'm such a fan of the OG Power. And because I'm so invested in the OG Power, I'm going to watch the other ones. The only one to me that's very lackluster is Force with Tommy. And mind you, he's a great actor. But the cast that surrounded Force, acting-wise, I'm not that invested, mainly because of the stakes. And actor-wise, I feel like some characters are good and some is like, you gotta replace him. So it's a mix on Power Force. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic in Time to Rap. The Florida domestic violence case against former NFL Marcellus Wiley was officially dropped by prosecutors because of lack of corroborating evidence. The wife immediately took to social media, Wiley immediately took to social media to call out his estranged wife, former Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star Anne-Marie Wiley, calling her claims the Real House lies. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Shout out to my dog Kiso. Appreciate you for tapping in. Shout out to my dog Fam in the building, man. What he said, Ash, the one who started the one who started to make the obituaries for Marvin, he got a hoodie for OG Marvin. Yo, you stupid. You stupid. Shout out to my dog Fam. I'm a pin that, fam. Hold on. I'm gonna pin that. Let me pin that. That's funny. I'm gonna pin that. Shout out to my dog Fam. I'm gonna pin that. That's funny. That's funny. Like people love Marvin's character, and it's because how he was written in the story. And then mind you, London Brown played that to the T. He played that to the T. And I hate this. I don't want to say this because I think he's talented enough to do other roles, and for him to do an amazing job in those roles, and for us to see him as those roles. But I hope people don't see him just as Uncle Marvin moving forward. Because I thought he did a great job as a character named Reggie. I could be wrong. Or Ralph. I think it's Reggie on Ballers with The Rock. He did a great job as that character. I think his name was Reggie. But he did a great job with that one. Then when we seen him on Raising Kanan, he took Uncle Marvin to a whole nother level. You know what I'm saying? To a whole nother level. So, it's a shout out to my dog Fan for that. That's lit. That's lit. Again, the Florida domestic violence case against former NFL player Marcus Wiley was officially dropped by prosecutors because of lack of corroborating evidence. Wiley immediately took to social media, called out his estranged wife, former Real Housewife of Beverly Hills, Anne-Marie Wiley, calling her claims the Real House lies. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Me personally, I had to get this story out mainly because when Marcellus Wiley was going through this, people could not wait to blast this. Oh, he's going through domestic violence situations. You just never know. Let the process do itself. But people was blasting him for it. And when it happened, you've seen it on every media platform that you could find it. Now that these charges have been dropped, you can't find this anywhere. You can't find this anywhere. So there's a level of that where obviously with sensationalism and the story is very clickbaity. We don't care about the truth. So the fact that they dropped the case because of lack of corroborating evidence, meaning evidence that would sustain their claims, it's not a strong case. They had to drop the case. Because if the judge would have heard it, he would have laughed them out of court. And the reason why that's so scary is because when you have headlines really ruin people's lives, especially us as men. When you see the headline is in itself that sells itself, right? It comes at a cost. And the cost is the person that is the headline, especially domestic violence with men. Now on top of you have somebody that's successful or known or is famous or known for doing this thing or that thing. Now it really come at a cost from the branding aspect, which affects your name and your money. Those are two things you can't live without. Is your name and your money, especially men. We can't live without our name and our money. We have to keep our name clean. That's what helps get the money. If our name is not clean, we end up with no money, which leads to jail, which leads to our demise. So the fact that lack of evidence, this actually proves, in my opinion, dare I say this ever happened? Do I believe they had an argument and a couple of FUs and FU2 BITCH and all this other stuff? Yeah, I can see that. It may not be true, but I can see it. When somebody piss you off, that's better than an uppercut. That's better than getting pushed. That's better than getting kicked. And some people say, hey, domestic violence, what's the word I'm looking for, y'all? Domestic violence verbally is just as bad or as bad physically. In order to call somebody an asshole, a FUBITCH, they said something too. You returning energy. So now returning energy, oh, that's a whole lot of violence. That's a whole lot of abuse. When we take away accountability for both people. Yeah, okay, could have walked away from that. Yeah, but where's the accountability on that person? So my point is, if one person has to take on the heat for being out of character, then the other person has to take on heat for being out of character too. Period, point blank. So the fact that we seen this plastered when we thought this man was going to go to jail, when we thought he was going to get charged, and now that his name has been cleared, you don't even see it anywhere as far as a story. So I just thought that was quite interesting. Shout out to Keesaw. Glad to see the legal process work through the evidence in this case. Facts. Insufficient evidence to convict is significant legal development for his defense. Facts. Facts. Shout out to Keesaw. That's a fact. That is a fact. Shout out to you. That is an absolute fact. I might just pin that. That's an absolute fact. And that shit is detrimental because we got some people out here that be lying. As we see, ergo. Now, what really pisses me off is when people are lying, there's actually real victims out here that really is going through something that really needs the they really need police and excuse me, the legal battles to start to interject to give them and get them away from somebody that's actually abusing them, both physically and verbally. But we're talking about adults here, and accountability matters. Having the ability to walk away matters. Now, don't get me wrong, we know people that should walk away, but they don't. Okay, accountability matters. You know better, but you choosing not to do better. That's accountability. So in this case, doesn't matter. He did not do it. They don't have the evidence. And when somebody is physically abused, they have evidence. They take pictures because they're trying to get away from this person that did them dirty. And there's some cases we've seen people beat themselves up to force the evidence, right? This wasn't the case. There's no evidence. There's no corroborating factors that would push this along, even without the physical marks, if there was physical marks, which there wasn't. And he was able to clear his name. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic in Time to Wrap. Lakers sold and brought by billionaire investor Josh Kushner and former Disney CEO Bob Iger. The group is buying the Laker team for a record-breaking $12.5 billion. This is the highest price ever paid for a professional sports team. The sale is waiting for final approval from the NBA Board of Governors. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. The team is being sold by Mark Walter, who also owned the LA Dodgers. This actually, the sale of the Lakers comes at as a huge surprise, mainly because he just bought the Lakers from the Buss family like a year and a half ago, if that, for $10 billion. And he was able to flip it for $12.5 billion. So he made a 3.5 increase on the sale. So, hey man, business people gonna do what business people do, man. They talking about billies, you know what I'm saying? They talking about billies. They talking about them billies. So shout out to that. But do I like it? I'm not sure. I mean, most of these owners, they in it to own stuff, right? They in it to take over. This is what they do. They take over things and they sell it for a profit, right? Anytime Laker ownership is all in on the Lakers are always good. When I hear Disney, the owner from Disney, he buys some stuff up now. He buys some stuff up. His stuff is profitable. But are they basketball guys for real? Are they going to stress winning? Hey, we need a general manager that put together a winning team, not a team that looks presentable and it's going to be marketable. We want to win. Winning is marketable. No. If you didn't realize, in the NBA, every franchise is not trying to win. Their thought process of winning is being profitable, not having a winning franchise. So what that means is they're going to take a player that look good in shorts. Pause. Oh, he's a good-looking kid. He's 6'7". Yeah, the girl's going to show up for him, but he's not good. Yeah, that doesn't matter. They're going to show up. The latest socialites, music artists, actors, they're going to show up to see this kid. He's a beautiful kid. He's going to sell a lot of jerseys. But he's ass. We're not going to be good. Yeah, don't worry about that. There are franchises that do that. Their trades don't make sense. People they take don't make sense, so they don't know basketball. So I don't know if they know basketball enough. And the reason why that matters for the Lakers, because the Lakers brand is associated to winning. They win championships. It's either championships or bust when it comes to the Lakers, in my opinion. So I don't know if this is a good fit, but when it comes to that money, they don't care about none of that. It's about that money on. It's about that money on. You like getting paid? Oh yeah, we got plenty of that. We got plenty of funds. But do they know the sport? And it matters with the LA Lakers. It matters. Some franchises, it matters because their brand is associated to winning. Boston Celtics, Lakers, it matters. Excuse me, San Antonio Spurs, they associated to winning. They known for winning. If they don't win, and I'm not talking about win every year, the championship every year, but it's important basketball over there. They play for championships for most years. And if that's not the case, the Bulls was very important for from 84 up until 2000. 6 championships. And it could have been more. But since MJ left, and even Derrick Rose was excited, and that team was excited, him, Joakim Noah, and Luol Deng, they was playing for a championship. And I believe that if they would have kept doing the right things and Rose would have continued to stay healthy, that at some point they may have been able to play for the championship or even win a championship. But that's a mark of a championship franchise. When a player goes down, they have another player that's going to step up and do the damn thing. Chicago Bulls never recovered, ever. So they're not a mark of a franchise that's tied to winning. No matter what era you in, is your franchise looking to win and making moves to win? And the Lakers, yeah, that's how they move over there. So this is going to matter. This is going to change things with the Laker organization, in my opinion. And we're going to have to wait and see what it's going to be like. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic in Time to Rap. Hold on, what is... Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. We have one of the most anticipated verses coming up. And we spoke about it in the chat. That's why it threw me off for a second, because I'm like, what? We have Donnell Jones, not Darnell Jones, Donnell Jones versus Joe in the upcoming versus battle. I believe it's August 20th. So it's right around the corner. Versus, let me know who y'all got in the chat. I think this is going to be a great night for R&B because both artists have catalog. They have songs that represents where people was at in life. Meaning, when that song was played, people remember where they was. They have songs. They the type of artists that 10 years from now, 20 years from now, you're still going to be listening to Joe and Donnell Jones. Because that music have always been top tier. Now, I think this is going to be a really good matchup, me personally, because of their style. They both are not dancers. They both singer type, R&Bers. They sing and they convey that emotion in their songs. And I believe that both of their catalogs are going to be very interesting moving forward. Now, mind you, Joe has more radio-friendly songs. Joe. Yes. Joe has more radio-friendly songs than Donnell Jones. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. If you look at Joe's top records, them things was spinning on the radio. Donnell Jones have records that was on the radio. I'm not saying that he didn't, but his music didn't benefit from the radio. Joe's music did, because Joe did a lot more music in hip hop. Like Joe sung on a lot of hip hop records. So it was going to be on the radio. These are not me talking out of emotions. These are facts. So at the end of the day, because of Donnell Jones' style is tailor-made for a versus. Because Donnell Jones got songs and it's a vibe. And you throw people in a room with them songs and they vibing. Dog, it's going to get very interesting. Now, honestly, either way, whoever wins, I think performance will be a factor. So whoever performs the best, I think will be the winner. But what I think is going to happen, honestly, the real winners of the verses, it will be us as the viewers. Because we're going to get 40 fire songs. 40 fire R&B records. And if you know, like I know, R&B hits different. And I rap and, I get busy too. But again, R&B hits different, especially 90s R&B. It hits different. So let's be honest. Let's be honest here. Let's be honest here. This is going to be a great night for R&B. I'm excited to hear the music, to see them do their thing. I think performance will be the X factor. They both have an extensive catalog. I think obviously it depends what both of them would play. But musically, we're going to have a good time. We're going to have a great time. And the best case scenario is that both of them is going to perform very well. They're going to play the songs that we all want to hear. And real talk, it'll probably end as a tie if they both perform well. If they both sing well. Because again, these are not dancers. These are singers. These are what they would call crooners. So I'm excited to see this. Because it's fire music. If you know Donnell Jones music, then you know. And if you know Joe's music, then you know it's going to be some fire. Especially if they play the records we want to hear, yo. I don't want to hear no record we don't know. I'm serious. And I know at least like 80 Donnell Jones records when I hear it. I know at least 80 Joe records when I hear it. So they better play them records, man. They better play them records, man. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next hot topic. The NFL is back, baby. It is officially back. Obviously, preseason started last week. And we're seeing a lot of teams struggle already out the gate. And it hasn't, like, they're not even out of training camp yet. Struggling. Because they don't know what direction they want their team to go in. And that's like a measuring stick, how you know teams are actually going to be good or not before the season starts, right? Because they have all these storylines. And this is what makes the NFL excellent to watch because of the storylines. It's like WrestleMania in the background, right? But it's real life though, right? And that's all due because people are not on the same page when it comes to team building. So, for example, in the NFL, it's broken down to these three power players: the GM, the coach, and the ownership, in no particular order. But if we're going to put this in order, coach, GM, owner. That's how the teams and the team dynamic is built in the NFL. The ownership has a direction. The GM follows said direction. And the coach, he coaches the direction. It's just that simple. In the NFL, it's just a different beast on how they put their teams together. So, for example, I've spoke about this team ad nauseum, and it's because it's a shit show. They are absolute shit show. They don't have a real direction, even though they have done a good job in acquiring players in the last 2 seasons. But you got the GM that acquires the players and getting the players in. You have the ownership that's like, yeah, this is the direction we want to go in. And then the coach is pretty coaching up the direction as what the head wants to see. Pause. They have a quarterback battle that I have mentioned before with Shedeur Sanders and Deshaun Watson. I've said this before, it's not a real quarterback battle. Mainly because anytime money is the leading factor on deciding who's going to get the position, then it's not a real competition. Deshaun Watson made $40 million this year, or 36. He's 36 and up. 36 million, I believe. It's either 36 or 40. Same thing, right? Not the same thing, but same thing. You get what I'm saying. Shedeur is not. Shedeur is on his rookie contract. He's probably going to make about $1 million this year, right? And that's just from the contract. We're not talking about his jersey sales, his sneaker endorsement. We're not talking about that. We're talking about from the Browns contract by itself is about like $1 million. If he is outplaying Deshaun Watson and continues to outplay Deshaun Watson, then he should be the day one starter for their team because of the upside. The Browns benefit more if Shedeur starts and he develops. He doesn't have to knock your socks off. He just has to continue to develop. Now, if he knocks your socks off, then your team is in the playoffs. And you have future assets that you can now truly build around him. Now, if Deshaun Watson starts, it's only good for Deshaun Watson because, like, if I'm the Browns, is it good business to sign or re-sign a player who gave me one good year out of a $230 million guaranteed contract? It's not good business. And like I said, a lot of these owners don't want to win. They don't care about winning. They care about being profitable. So if the deciding factor is the paycheck and not the play, then it's not a real quarterback battle. But if we're talking football, if we're talking any sport, but football in general, I'm going to tell y'all something that some people don't know. Like I said, I played all the way to college. I played past college, actually. I played a little semi-pro, a little junior pro, whatever, but college, right? And the rule is, if your freshman is just as good as your senior, you play the freshman. If your sophomore is as good as your junior, you play the sophomore. See where I'm going with this? Because the younger the player is and it's even, he's only going to be better with more game reps. He's only going to be better recognizing what the hell is going on his field so he can play faster, smarter, stronger. So if you have a player outplaying a veteran player, and mind you, Deshaun Watson, at one point in time, you couldn't tell me he wasn't the second best quarterback in the league at one point in particular time. Seriously. You couldn't tell me that. But he's not that at this moment in time. He's not. Now, could he be a starter on another team that needs a new direction? Maybe he could go prove it. Yes, he can do that. There's plenty of terrible quarterbacks in the league that even him being a shell of himself now will outplay them right now. But Cleveland with Shedeur and his upside, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, honestly, it should be Shedeur and Taylor Green. Because Taylor Green, 6'5", 230, runs a legit 4.3. And you go work on his mechanics, throwing the ball. That's one thing about the NFL I never understood. It used to be a time when people got drafted and they had weaknesses. They actually did a thing, it was called development. And whatever he wasn't good at, you actually developed that. Like if you got a guy and he was fast and he plays receiver or tight end, but he's fast or he's physical, we got to work on them hands. Hey, here's the thing, catch 1,000 balls a day, pause, and your hands will be better. Part of the development. If he wasn't good at running routes, we have route running specialists that could come in and we could pay to get these routes right. With quarterbacks, everybody's a quarterback guru. So a guy like Taylor Green, you mean to tell me that the Browns organization doesn't have the resources to have a quarterback coach when they already have a quarterback coach on their team? So they don't have an extensive quarterback coach that say, hey, we could get a better 15-yard pass down the field if we work on these mechanics. We could do a better 8 route, a better 7 route if we work on these mechanics. It's the NFL. You're supposed to have the best teachers in the world, correct? So yeah, again, that power dynamic from ownership, GM, and coach is a very real thing in the NFL because you cannot properly develop your team if you're not on the same page. And the Cleveland Browns is the latest ability of that. The latest chapter is that. Now, again, if it's truly a quarterback competition, then you don't talk about contracts. When something is about competition, if Deshaun Watson wasn't making $36 million or $40 million or whatever that it is this a real competition? Would this even be a conversation? Like realistically, if he wasn't making that money, would he still be on the team? Again, this is not bashing him. This is about understanding NFL politic and team dynamic. This wouldn't even be a conversation. If he was even making $14 million instead of 36 to 40, he wouldn't even be on the team right now. They would just eat that. And they might as well eat this 40. Might as well. The most expensive backup ever. Yes, eat the 40. Your books done opened up anyway after you done traded Myles Garrett anyway. And the beautiful part, you get him off your books. And even if you choose to re-sign him at the end of the season, you re-sign him as a backup, and that will be his new role unless he wants to go to other places to try to start. But yes, you have a $40 million backup. So what? First team in history to do so. So what? So what? Because if you're playing him because of the money and because of the contract, you're hindering further development. So that dynamic to me, it's a bit outdated when they talk about the money and the ownership. They want to get their money's worth. Hey, you got your money's worth, or you didn't get your money's worth. As an owner, as a billionaire, you may not want to eat the cost, but you're going to have to eat the cost on it because you make more money if you're winning. That's the when owners talk about winning, right? They talk about a quarterback making $40 million, another one making $1 million. If your team is going to the playoffs, when your team is winning in the NFL, merchandise go up. The stands is packed. Guess what? You go into the playoffs. That's even more money. You ain't worried about that little $40 million. You ain't worried about that little $40 million. Between that by itself, you made a bad decision by giving him all that guaranteed money. He's been hurt. He's been a shell of himself. And the only reason why he's in the conversation is because of the contract. Not the talent. Not because he's out there balling. It's because of the contract. We're going to give it a look. We got to give it a look. That's a terrible business model. So, and you don't want to win, so you rather lose to win. Because if he plays well and they go to the playoff, it only benefits him moving forward. So, again, the NFL is back, and the team building process is clunky at best, and we're going to see this immediately. We're seeing it right now in training camp with many teams. Not just the Cleveland Browns. We see it with the Atlanta Falcons. We see it with the Minnesota Vikings. It's clunky as hell all through the league right now. Shout out to Keyshaw in the building. I missed a couple comments. I want to know is an automatic point. Oh, talking about Donnell Jones, right? Joe has too many mainstream hits. The sports bubble is never going to burst. Owner, money cannot buy football intelligence. GMs build teams, but coaches save them. Uh, Drafting a bus will get you fired. That's a fact. Yeah, you got to know what the hell you're doing. But at the end of the day, a lot of these teams, believe it or not, they don't make picks to win games. They don't care. Most of these franchises don't care about winning. They care about being profitable. Yeah. The chances of us going to the Super Bowl slim to none. What couple players we could get that's gonna fill these stands up? People gonna buy this jersey. Now, if we good, cool. If we're not, we still popping. So yeah, for a fact, that's a fact. That's a fact. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next segment, our Keep the Lie Alive segment. My Keep the Lie Alive for this episode is you control your position. You control your position. And I say that because actress Tiffany Haddish has a trial coming up expected to start this week. She has some DWI charges in Peachtree City. And obviously she made a bad choice by drinking and driving or being behind the wheel. I don't think they caught her driving. I think they caught her actually asleep behind the wheel. I'm not sure if the vehicle was on or off, but when have you known most people just to sit in a vehicle and not drive the car while out in traffic somewhere? So either way, it's still a bad look. Even if it's in the parking lot, it's still a bad look. The fact that she stopped and wasn't driving, cool, but they found her more so asleep and not like asleep. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's the difference between somebody like pulling over and going to sleep and somebody like just sleep because they smacked and they don't even realize that they sleeping. So I think that's more so of the case all in itself. Again, my Keep the Lie Alive is, again, you control your position. She controlled the position that she was in. You have all these resources, you have all these different all this different access for you not to be in that situation. And now she put her position in jeopardy. You control your position. You control the outcome of the things that you have going on in your life. So that's my Keep the Lie Alive for this episode. Remember, you control your position. You control your outcome. Don't let others dictate where you're going to be, whether that's good or bad. Nobody going to do you good better than you. Trust me when I say that. So remember, protect your position. You hold your position. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all tuning and tapping in. Y'all been absolutely amazing. Again, if this is your first time tuning and tapping in, I'm on every Wednesday, every Sunday at 10:30. Make sure y'all go tell a friend to tap in. We talk about everything here. Have the great conversation. We have some fun. Even if it's serious too, we still have some fun. Even if we disagree, we still get to the heart of the conversation. And I appreciate y'all support. We're actually on the road to 20,000 subscribers. We're a little over 14, so continue to like, subscribe, share, hit that all notification bell, and continue to engage. I've been seeing y'all comments, engaging in the videos that I drop daily. Continue, I get in those comments as well, even if I don't agree, but I'm going to jump in to show love. If you're there to troll, I'm going to give you the troll treatment. So again, I appreciate y'all always for tuning and tapping in. Also, I want to thank the presenting sponsor of this podcast, which is Button Snaps, where you get the finest of movies, shows, documentaries, and original content for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. Again, that's Button Snaps, the word button, hyphenated sign, and then the word snaps.com. Also, remember, y'all, do not be an agent of chaos. Do not be a stain. A stain is somebody that try to stand out by being negative. have the ability to stand out by being positive. Lose that Willie Lynch mindset. Lose that it can only be one mindset. The only op we recognize over here is opportunity. We celebrate life culture. Hate has a location. It's just not here. And I got nothing but love for y'all. If y'all want to tap in outside of YouTube, I'm at Ashley Lovechild on everything. Or just type in Ashley Lovechild and on Google, and everything will pop up anyway. So again, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all, and y'all already know, man. It's love. I'm gonna see y'all this Wednesday at 10:30. It's gonna be here before you know it. These days be flying by. So I'm gonna see y'all really soon. Love.